And welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me, Christian Rauchenwald, on this probably nice, it looks sunny-ish outside, Friday afternoon here in Germany. I hope you all had a great trading week and a great week in general. As always, before we jump into things, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. And besides that, as always, the reminder, all the tools that I'm using, so the charting software, the broker, the strategy I'm following, and everything else you see in the stream is linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I always recommend, if you tune in for the first time, don't forget you can actually read the Elliott Wave principles, so the strategy that I think is quite accurate and useful, for free online when you're using the link in the description down below, or you can use that link and then also get a physical copy once you've read it online and see that it actually works. With that, we can jump right into it. Just gonna get rid of the welcome message, and we're actually having a green start into the day. I have to admit, at this point, we had a great start since I switched to Interactive Broker in May. We're up around 70% almost, and then lost a lot of it, not by closing positions, but basically because we got shares assigned and they are causing a temporary loss. And then some of the positions I made were really not that great, as you can see here. And I have to say, personally, I'm getting a little bit, I have to remind myself right now almost daily that it's not a sprint, it actually is a marathon. And yeah, anyway, we're starting green into the day, and in Motive Wave, so the charting software I'm using, we can see immersion right now. Yesterday we increased our immersion position, actually, if I recall it correctly. So we got an additional 35 shares, 25 shares or so. And thinking about it in retrospective, I think we should have gotten instead the Novavax call options. Now, obviously in immersion, we reduced our average by that because we actually originally had a slightly worse entry. I thought that the correction here would not be as big, so we have an entry that's higher up. And I think long term, it will still turn into a profitable position. We are right now waiting to see if indeed the corrective wave finished here, and we'll get to see the next upwards movement, where our average at now, what is it, $9.91, so somewhere here, is not too bad, because if that's the case, that should be one of the next things that happens. So potentially maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that position would be in green. Whereas in comparison, let's switch to Novavax, where we currently only hold one call option that's expiring in Novavax January 25, so we have quite some wiggle room in Novavax. And yeah, let's wait for the chart to load, and I will have a sip of my coffee. So in Novavax, the pattern is just a little bit cleaner. We're basically waiting for the confirmed breakout of the so-called deceleration channel. As far as the pattern goes, I believe that we are having a 1, 2, 3, although 3 falls a little bit short of our usual levels here. It still looks like 1, 2, 3, because here the third wave also looks like it subdivides into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, yeah. Wave 3 probably is from here to here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means we're now in a corrective wave 4. That still could go lower. Technically, it could go as low as here before the pattern comes invalid around the $3.80 mark. But again, looking at the pattern here, it looks like we finished our ABC corrective pattern, with this being wave A. Here we have ABC for wave B, and then here we have another 5 waves down for wave C, which means we potentially have the next wave 1, 2, and the next wave 1, 2. We'll see if we're right, if we stay above 1055 and actually get some upwards movement going here. And that, again, as said, we only have one call option that we got around here. It's slightly in plus, talking about a few dollars, as we can see. However, it has an incredible payout profile if indeed the target areas between $30 and $60 is reached before or until the option expires in January. So we see there's a lot of room still for that to happen. But yeah, so I think that was not necessarily a mistake to increase the position in immersion, because I also see upwards movement there. But obviously here we would pay, if we check right now, markets are already open, of course. So if we go to Novavax, if we buy the same option, it would cost $95 right now. So for the $200 that we bought immersion shares yesterday, we could have gotten 2 more call options, and if indeed we reach that price area, the payout would be bigger. Now, obviously, one other aspect to the whole thing is the immersion shares are shares that we are now holding, or at least there is some database entry at Interactive Broker that claims that we hold the shares. So they always will have a value unless immersion goes broke. Whereas the call options can expire worthless if we do not hit our price target and hold them till the end. So yeah, time will tell. But I thought about it yesterday again a little bit and again. So like, if I could revert back to yesterday, I probably would get 2 more call options instead of additional immersion shares, simply because the upward movement that I see in Novavax potentially is bigger. Yeah, let's switch to our usual suspect, GameStop. Yeah, we're still waiting. Right now, again, we have still multiple patterns possible on the chart. If we zoom in a little bit, so on one hand, we have the option that this is wave A, wave B, and wave C finished. It reaches the minimum target here for wave C. It's 5 waves potentially here, a corrective pattern here, and 5 waves here. And which means we have the option that right now we're in the beginning of 5 waves down. If that were the case, we probably either today or on Monday would start to see a downwards movement that makes us a new low. The other option is this is indeed the low already of the corrective pattern, and we will see wave 1, wave 2, and this will be wave 1, wave 2. And now we are in wave 3, in which case we'll go higher here. Now, basically, if we're going further down, then we probably would expect this here to be A, B, C, so a little bit higher, and then we continue down further. If we're going up from here, we expect 1, 2, 3, so stronger upwards move here, 4, and then wave 5. So if we get a 5-wave push here as well, that ideally should make a new high in relation to this movement, then we are more likely in an upwards move. And we'll see in the next week further upwards movement. Zooming out again, I think we had a 4-hour chart here. Yep, so that's that. Barnes & Noble Educational, moving a little bit up today. Do we get a chart? It seems like all the cached data is gone, and we have to load everything. So need a little bit of patience during today's episode. Yeah, so still same situation. We still consider that there is an option for another push further up. There's also the option that we're correcting a bigger movement. We'll have to see how this movement here develops further, if this is A, B, C, and we go up further, or if this will turn into some 5-wave down, A, B, C, 5-wave down pattern for a bigger correction. Either way, I think long term, while there is a potential for a 22, even what's that 40% drop to finish that correction, I think long term there is upwards movement still to come. Again, compared to other patterns, I think if I would have to pick between Barnes & Noble Education and Novavax, I would right now pick Novavax. But yeah, we have small position here as well, so we're just going to hold it because it probably is also slightly in the red. Yes, $15 in the red, but we also have a very small position of around $140 in total, so it's not the end of the world either way. But yeah, so with that out of the way, we can use the time to take a look at Faraday Future, where we saw this bigger movement. So on one hand, we have the assumption that either this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or this is wave 1 and this is wave 2. Which is what I actually believe is the case. If we zoom in a little bit just on the recent upwards movement, we can see a clear at least 1, 2, 3 movement, but probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this has to be a corrective pattern, A, B, C. If that's the case, there's still the option that we go further down, but we would expect that we first reach a new high in that area here, or that we indeed are going further up. Then this would be the next wave 1, 2, and wave 3 should obviously bring us further up in the long term. In the short term, it looks like we finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the first 5-wave impulse, and right now in this correction here, we reached the 38.2 retracement. Potentially we could go down as little as $4.50, theoretically even as little as here or very close to this, but those would be the most common retracement levels. So I think that it's possible that we already finished the correction here and we'll go further up from here. So even here with our small position, I'm fairly confident and will hold on further. Again, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So Yeah, moving on. No, dropped a little bit, so we can see from it was about 30 cents and is now and was the last couple of days already close below 30 cents. Now we're at 26.8. Yeah, it remains to be seen if the pattern that I see there will play out, which would take us down probably to a point as little as 5 cents over the next couple of weeks and months. Let's see if we get a chart, actually months, since we're looking at the weekly chart. Oh, if it loads. Yeah. Come on, son. Yeah, someday I'll also find the time to look into why exactly that loading is taking so long in so many cases. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, but yeah, for now, unfortunately, usually have other things on my schedule, so that's kind of like, unfortunately, very low priority. Yeah, we'll give it another, I don't know, another minute. I cannot see the seconds down there. Okay, till 47. And if it then doesn't load, we'll move on. Okay, so yeah, gave it 2 minutes, doesn't load, so we're moving on to costs. Yeah, there we are basically waiting for a little bit of a stronger upwards movement to confirm that we indeed finished a corrective wave here, in which case we would assume that this might be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get a wave 5. The other options is that we're still in the downwards channel, and this might be wave A, B, C, and we're actually looking at our next wave 1, 2, 1, 2, and we'll get a stronger push down. Either way, our cost exposure is also not too big, so we're just gonna wait and see as well. If we look closer, it's going to be tricky to label this as a single corrective pattern. It's possible that it is in some form ABC or ABC, but however, from the looks of it right now, it's also possible that this is 5-wave movement down. Going to be tricky. However, on the other hand, this here does not look like a corrective move. So if we were in a downwards pattern, we would expect here a 3-wave movement, whereas this here more clear or clearer or yeah, more likely looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive pattern. So as long as we don't break below around $6.60 here, we should be good. This might be the entire corrective move here, and we might be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 to come as said. So zooming out again, 4 hours should be sufficient, yes, and moving on. Maxon, we already got out of that. We're expecting, or we don't expect, the pattern became invalid, but we are basically, oh yeah, we're expecting to get a further push down into the 6 cent area here. So for 1, 2, 3, then 4 and 5, and then at the bottom, probably below 6 cent, once wave 5 finishes, we might consider jumping in for a potential upwards movement. But until then, we'll probably just keep an eye on it daily. NEO, actually getting the strong push that we were waiting for. We are now close to the 261.8 extension level, so where potentially that third wave movement will terminate. Then we'll get a wave 4, and then we'll get wave 5 up further. We're right now looking at the daily chart. I'm going to remove the auto Elliott wave pattern to clear things up a little bit. So from the looks of it, we have a big wave 1 going till here. That would have a likely wave 3 target at 14.38, which is again 200% increase from our current price level. So, however, that's a longer perspective so for us to get up there. There's still the option again that this also just will turn into a big ABC. We're gonna have to consider a few different things here. So if so there's still also the option if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 downwards, we're now getting a ABC upwards, and then we get a further push down. But I think the more likely scenario is that from here we'll actually get a 5-wave impulse up, considering the strong movement that we're seeing here. Now, if this whole thing would to be a big ABC pattern before we go further down, we would still expect it that we can remove. We would still expect it to at least reach the area at $5 where we are now as a minimum target. But considering that this would also need to subdivide into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we would expect it to reach at least the $6 mark to finish an ABC pattern before we go further down. In other words, if we zoom in a little bit, let's take a 4-hour chart. Just looking at the recent movement, we are likely looking at something. I mean, it might be wave 1 might be officially here, to be honest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our wave 3 target is here. And then within that third wave, we can already with the naked eye see our potential wave 1, 2, 3 is still in progress, where again it subdivides 1, 2, 3 still in progress. So we might actually, with this current move, exceed the 261.8 target and actually reach the 338.2 or 361.8 extension levels, just based on the rough look of this pattern here. Overall, so still more upside in NEO, in my opinion, based on Elliott Wave Theory, and the few shares that we hold here, the 20 shares that we hold here, will actually keep holding them. We don't have a definitive profit target yet, because again, even just this pattern here would already offer us a profit target that still is a little bit of upside for wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So there's still, in my opinion, over the next couple of weeks, there should still be at least 10% more, if not more, to get. I'm gonna leave here on an 8-hour chart. So again, potentially wave 1, wave 2, and now wave 3 in progress. And as we see here from that wave 1, if that's the case, our profit targets would be the first level 3 or wave 3 target would be in this area, 750 to 850. And the actual targets would be, or the common targets would be 1270 to 1438. Again, over the next couple of months. So again, we set the zoom. And moving on, Novavax we already covered. So we'll see if we indeed will get our push up here for a third wave to confirm the pattern that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks. Nvidia slightly declining. So again, there is the possibility for a little bit further down. I would start to worry, as mentioned, if we break below the low that we had here at 97.15. Until then, the pattern would still suggest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, especially considering the relationship between this movement and this movement here. The alternative would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, then this corrective pattern, just the relationships are not as nice as they should be. And so it's more likely that, based on Elliott Wave Theory, that it actually should go the other way. Yeah, Park Hotels. We had a position there a while ago, or yeah, like actually a while back, and it's possible that they actually bottomed here and that we're here either getting our ABC or our 1, 2, 3 movement. Might still be a good entry with a stop loss at the $10 mark. However, it's, I mean, 40%, or not even 40%, but like a 30% risk. But the profit mark would be 100%, or the profit area or target areas would be 100 to 200% just for an ABC movement. We don't have a position right now, as far as I recall, so no PK positions here. So we're just gonna stay out of this one. But yeah, something I wanted to look at. Riot, maybe we get a chart today. I think we got one yesterday. Eventually, or not. Will we get a chart? Hi, Olga. Great to have you here. Yeah, moin. Hope you have had a great week and a great final trading day during the week, or during this week. Oh, come on. I really have to find the time to look into why it's taking so long for Motive Wave to fetch the data from Interactive Broker. I mean, the data is there. It's running on the same machine, yeah, but... Okay, not getting any data. SMCI, yeah, we're getting data. Oh, we're declining further. I think we covered that yesterday. I'm going to zoom out in a second, but potentially with the naked eye, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 5. So while we have the theoretical maximum target here, what's WHLR? Don't know that one. I'm going to check in a second. So while we have the theoretically maximum target that we rarely should exceed for an ABC pattern, again, that we see when we zoom out, we are still missing or finishing wave 5 of this pattern here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just as a summary, so if we take an extension here, from what I recall, it turns around relatively nicely at the 2618 extension level, marking this our third wave, fourth wave, and then we can take an expansion for wave 3, 4, and so that basically is here, no, which one is lower here? 480, 478, yeah, and here, and then we get our minimum target and our maximum target for the fifth wave. So we see, and even in the fifth wave with the naked eye, we see potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so, and then we can do the same thing, reset that. We're not going to zoom in, I'm just going to do it on the scale we have right now. So get an extension, start point, potentially wave 1, 2 goes something like this. So wave 1 should be this. We see in this case, wave 3 turns around at this 6618, 661.8, yeah, extension level, making this then our wave 3, our wave 4, or wave 4 could be actually this part here as well. It's going to be tricky because it's a strong movement here. So basically down, up. The high here is at 540.20, 540.20, so they're both identical here, interesting. And then we can take an expansion level. However, the tricky part here is going to be, I'm going to delete that for a second. So the red candle is the wave 2 part. So wave 2 is here. And then wave 3 is here. The question is wave 4 this movement here? In which case we already would have our minimum target, or is wave 4 this movement here? In which case there would still be further room down. I think that's going to be the valid pattern here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would indicate that we already reached the minimum target. We could zoom in and try to label this fifth wave to get a better confirmation if we indeed already finished that fifth wave as well. I'm not going to bother because I don't hold a position right now. Yeah, so there should be, if we zoom out again, so weekly chart should do the trick. Potentially there should be now upwards movement in SMCI because we finished a nice ABC pattern where multiple patterns or multiple guidelines, yeah, like are spot on. With the naked eye, we can see the ABC corrective wave here. We can, with the naked eye, even on the weekly chart, see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Okay, wave 5 is set, still might have a little room down, which means there are like two scenarios. Either this is 1, 2, 3 in progress, and then we get wave 4 up. So upwards movement, probably 10-20%, or we would expect to, let's look closer. So if this second wave here, we traced 61.8, So we breach 61.8 slightly here and bounce. Then we would expect this potential third wave. So if this is 1, 2, 3 to retrace 38.2, which means we would expect to reach basically the $560 mark, which is, what's that, 40% upside from here right now. Even if it turns out to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get a wave 5 push down. The other option is, in my opinion, more likely based on the pattern right now, A, B, C, and we'll actually get another 5-wave impulse that takes us even higher. Now, stop loss is going to be a tricky choice here if one enters right now, but it would need to be below 380, ideally below, I don't know, probably here at the, this one comes from 345. I probably would place a stop loss at 300 if I would enter that position right now, so at 25% risk. With then again take profit, I would start to consider using a trailing stop loss once we are up 15-20%. But yeah, so still the option obviously that I'm wrong happens more often than I would like, but I think again like that that fifth wave here is almost finished and there will be decent upwards movement afterwards. So again, we now see a push down, we make a new low here, which again will help us finish whatever fifth wave move we have here. 8 hours was a little bit too much, daily works, yeah. So again, so we're in the target area for the fifth wave. Yeah, I don't need to look at SunPower, it's just dumping further. Maybe there will be some positive news at some point, maybe not, we'll see. And SPY, yeah, like we're still in an area, like just same as yesterday, we're in an area where we still can correct further and still have a valid pattern. Overall, there would be the option, actually there are not that many options, there would be the option that this is A, B, C, and then actually we should be in a 5-wave impulse up. So while there might still be room down right now and short-term option plays might not be that smart, but longer dated options might actually still pay out nicely because we should still get a fifth wave move up. So visually this appears to me at least like 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 still to come. Wave 4 could be unfinished. Again, there is still room down. While initially it looked like we bounced at the 38.2 level, now we are bouncing at the 50% level. There's still the chance that we go to the 61.8 or the 78.6. There's also the chance I'm wrong. But again, I think that long term, so not just thinking a couple of days, but actually thinking weeks or months ahead, we should finish this correction and then get our fifth wave move up into whatever area, depending on what low point we have. Also, the target area for the fifth wave will change accordingly, as we can see. But yeah, so that's SPY, and then NASDAQ, gonna be the same thing, I guess. Today having a red day, so retracing a little bit further, but still having a valid pattern. Let's try 8 hours. Yeah, so the point where the pattern becomes invalid would be here. So at this low point here, then it cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore. If we enter the area here, so below that high point, then it would need to be a diagonal. Could be, not even saying it's unlikely, just wouldn't like to see that. So I would start to worry if we break the 18,558.50 mark. Until then, it's still possible that this is again just a bigger, more drawn out fourth wave. Originally, or actually we assumed that this is 1, 2 and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So which means if we break the mark here, that would actually be the first point to reconsider. Then we already would be in a pattern where it's still possible that this is 1, 2, 3. So 3 already finished. Right now, the assumption was that 3 isn't finished yet. I'm going to get rid of the destination channel for now. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, looking at it with a little bit more data on the chart, it's possible that we actually look at A, B, and now wave C in progress, where wave C has 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just finishing the fifth wave push. Now, question would be, again, is this 1, 2, 3, and we're in wave 4, or is this 5 waves up possible? So that this is 1, 2, 3, and then wave 4 would therefore have actually retraced 50% in the first move and would now still retrace a little bit more potentially to the 61.8 retracement level before we finish that correction, which would fit with finishing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push here. Yeah. Again, short term tricky to decide long term. I think it's still a safe options play, or even buying shares in quotes directly, or yeah, I don't know if it's called shares of an index. Yeah. In German, there's a difference between shares. So German language has a difference between buying shares of a company or buying shares of an, no, actually both would be Anteile. So I think it's the same. Yeah, like, I mean, language is not my strong suit. So anyway, yeah, so with that, yeah, Olga bought what? WHLR, whatever they do. Let's see if we can find them. Wheeler Real Estate Investments. I guess they pay dividends. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice development here. Congratulations. Even with the naked eye here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay, long term doesn't look that great, but it's paused. Let's see, do we have even a longer chart? Okay, it just went down, down, down. Okay. They don't pay dividends anymore, or it's a little tricky with the delay to know what you're responding to. Yeah, that might be too much. I'd like to label that real quick. Okay, if we zoom a little bit. So our low point would be this here. Okay, that's too much zoom. Let's try make it a little. So that low is at 96.55. That low is lower. So one thing we're likely looking at is not expansion, extension. It might have been actually easier to label it on the daily chart, yeah. Daily, maybe 8 hours. They're going to issue shares. I'm out for now, yeah. Good exit. So on with like just without labeling it, without just with the naked eye, I think that we have wave 1, 2 here. Need to add a few levels here to actually yeah, 961.8, 1061.8. Is that enough? No. 1161.8, 12, 61.61, yeah, 61.8. Getting there. Let's try 14, 61.8, 15, 60, 61.8. So like just from the 8-hour chart, it's going to be a tricky choice that this is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in which case a bigger correction is incoming, or this is 1, 2, 3, correction incoming for wave 4 and then wave 5. Yeah. Now, if we, yeah, we're gonna leave that on the chart for now. It's a little bit cluttered, but still, actually 4 hours might still work also decently enough, maybe even hourly. Yeah, hourly we can also make work. Now just need to drag that over. So if this is, yeah, wave 1 would be here. And we trace 78.6 here, so rule of alternation doesn't help us much. But I think that might only be the third wave, because if we zoom in, we can, no, actually, that might actually be the final 5th wave already, yeah? Because we already have a bigger correction here that we just don't see on the bigger charts because it happens within the candle. And on top of that, with the naked eye, well, we might have 1, 2 in some form. We also can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So we bounce here at around the 1061.8 extension level for the 3rd wave, have our 4th wave, and have our 5th wave. We can also try to semi-confirm that by putting our expansion here. So this is our 4th wave. and our second wave terminates potentially somewhere here-ish, either here or here. Doesn't make much of a difference, but we can see we reached the minimum target for the fifth wave, which means right now we would be, and again, for that, I'm going to zoom out again to an 8-hour chart, so just to label it easier. So right now we finished 5 waves up, and we would expect a corrective wave down that should potentially reach the 38.2 retracement level. Now, technically, it would be sufficient if it reaches what it already does, the 23.6, but in most cases, we will see at least the 38.2. So I think equity of common stock would be around $9, so it's on point right now. Okay, yeah, I still think like that it's more likely that there will be another corrective wave down. That might then again, if this is the start of it following some Elliott wave pattern, then we would get A, B, C in the next couple of days actually develop, and then we might get another push up or not, or we get a longer drawn out correction that just over months develops to this area before we then get another move up. Yeah, good for you. I hope you got in better than how you got out, so that it was profitable. Yeah, just so many stocks out there. There's every day something that in quotes partially explodes, but obviously one cannot always be in everything. And at the end of the day, trying to be in everything just leads to missing out very often or to pick the wrong stocks. Yeah, I mean, happens to me as well. As we see with Green Wave and SunPower especially. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to remove that because I'm already having enough on my watch list. And with that, I think we're going to call it a day and I get back to doing other things. GameStop visually might really have finished an ABC pattern here and will go further up. In which case, we would expect to stay above the, what do we have, 2165. If we break that, then there's room further down, but as long as we stay above the 2165, it looks like we finished an almost perfect ABC pattern where wave C gets within, what do we have low here, within 2 cents of a perfect wave C, so in relation to wave A. I enter with less capital into more of these shorted stocks. 85% of the time it pays off. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you dedicate more time than I do to your research into finding the stocks. I mean, looking up short interest is one aspect, but then looking up what's actually behind the company and if the short interest is justified or if it's potentially unjustified is a whole different endeavor. And if it pays off in 85%, it's obviously worth it because then you have a couple losers, but the winners are so big because obviously you have squeeze movements. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn, you know, like, I mean, we also have a software business. I'm totally for months already lacking behind maintaining my other YouTube channels. And right now there's just so much on my desk that I just don't have the time. It would be different, you know, if the portfolio that I would manage here would already be, I don't know, $100,000-$200,000 or so, then it would be different than the payout. So we have to consider obviously the return in percentage because saying I made $1 million profit is not a huge feat if you manage $1 billion. Yeah, saying I made $1 million profit if you manage 500,000 is a huge feat. Yeah, and with the small portfolio I manage, the issue is just, while I think my return would be much better if I would dedicate more time to it. The absolute, so as a percentage, it would look great, but as the absolute amount, it would not make a difference in our life, and it would actually bring up other challenges because our other businesses would suffer. And so I'm kind of like forced, if I want to or not, to keep the trading to a minimum, to have enough time to deal with all the other stuff that we have in our life. I would long-term love to focus a little bit more on the trading part. Good for you. I quit my job last year, self-employed right now, trying to figure out how it's going to be though. Yeah, what area are you self-employed in? I mean, we are also self-employed. I mean, technically we have legal entities, but it's basically me, my wife, and then depending on the situation, freelancers. Yeah. But in like, yeah, like on one hand for us, it's good that we are like diversified. So, I mean, there's this YouTube channel which is not monetized anymore because I neglected it. for a few years. Then there's my main YouTube channel about crypto and stuff. And then there is our software business, but it's also like, it's like a 6-figure business, but lower 6 figures that we make in yearly revenue/profit. But if you then consider the overheads, so in terms of taxes, administrative fees, and all that stuff, it's like it's okay to pay our bills, but it's not like we're going to the Porsche dealership any day now. If you share the industry, if you want to, that already would be fine. So like technology, finance, I don't know, plumbing, real estate or so. I mean, only if you want to. If you don't want to, it's also perfectly fine. Yeah. But yeah, so all those things take up time, and it's kind of like everything's running smooth, relatively smooth, but in every area, it's like I have to put in time still, because while it's going good, and we also have a decent amount of passive income from a lot of things that we're doing, but it's not good enough to be able to say, okay, we hire a super qualified full-time employee to take care of this and that, to free up more of my time to focus on, for example, like more on the trading, or to focus finishing up or polishing one of our other areas. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like if you don't want to share, again, perfectly fine as well. Let's ask the 8-ball. Will Olga eventually tell me the industry that he's in? Okay, he's partially sharing. I'm finding myself, I actually intend to do sales right now, a little consulting. Okay. Doesn't sound too bad. To be fair, what I learned, so I started out when I dropped out of a school for technical computer science and internet engineering to basically work as freelance developer. And then I transitioned into e-commerce consulting, so consulting German e-commerce businesses mostly. And then eventually I reached the point where I realized if you're a consultant, you are nothing else but an overpriced employee. Yeah? I mean, for me, it was nothing else. Like, I mean, I had a car paid by one of my clients, and like little working hours, and 6-figure yearly in revenue, since it's not salary, but revenue, for next to no work. But at the end of the day, the moment the business or the client's business had some setbacks because maybe they made dumb decisions and ignored my advice in certain areas, or for whatever other reason, my contract was one of the first that had to go because it was expensive. Yeah. So you have no control, and you're just an overpriced employee. And the bigger worry is, like, in my opinion, there's no passive aspect. So one thing I learned over the years is if you don't have monthly recurring revenue, so passive income, you don't have a business. Yeah. So if your business relies on constantly finding new clients, you don't have a business. Yeah. So if you're basically doing what we did in 2019 when I moved to Ukraine, and Irina and I started our business, and we asked ourselves, what do we want to do? And our criteria were being able to work remotely, being our own boss, and building up passive revenue, yeah, or passive income. So, and we tried a lot of things. Some things we didn't do for long, other things we're still doing and are part of our whole business ventures and so on. What I can say works great, in quotes, is, for example, YouTube channels. Yeah, you have to pick something you're passionate about, and that you enjoy, and it takes work. But one benefit of a YouTube channel, trading is a little bit of a tricky topic, because one of the big issues is I cannot just record videos, because by the time I have a video, written a script, recorded everything, edited and uploaded, we're already a week later or 2 weeks later, and whatever I share is already irrelevant. Yeah. But other areas, even doesn't matter if it's collecting stamps, or if it's picking locks, or if it's whatever, gaming guides. I have a gaming guide YouTube channel that I started building this year. It's a slow progress, but it's some relatively easy. You have the benefit, if you do it with publishing videos, it takes like between, I don't know, the fastest monetization I reached was within 2 weeks, slowest was 16 months. And you plan your week yourself. You try to publish 1 video per week. And so whenever you find the time to write the script, record, and do everything is completely up to you. Even when we're on vacation, some of the videos on my other channels are recorded whatever on Mallorca, in Turkey, and other destinations. So just pack the camera, record there, and then either edit it there on the MacBook or edit it when I'm back home. So YouTube is one of the great ways. And YouTube offers up a lot of possibilities that you eventually can sell your merchandise, or you can work with affiliate promotions. Like, for example, Motive Wave, the charting software I'm using, has an affiliate program Interactive Broker obviously has a referral program and I think also an official affiliate program and so on. So where you can then share what you're passionate about, and people watch it, and here and there somebody clicks on your links and buys, and you earn a commission. And if your affiliate programs or the affiliate things that you're using, so let's take for example Motive Wave. It's like a software where you in most cases will have a monthly, quarterly, yearly subscription of some kind. So I don't know the details of their affiliate program from the top of my head right now, but if you find an affiliate program that is something that people keep paying for as long as they use it, and you get commission as long as they use it, you actually build up passive income from the affiliate commissions. Yeah. And yeah, so YouTube is, in my opinion, a great way. Yeah. You're paying me with YouTube Premium. Thank you very much. Yeah. But on that channel, I don't get anything from it because that channel is not monetized. So that all goes to YouTube. So thank YouTube very much, or YouTube should thank you very much. So yeah, like I have the subscriber numbers, but I don't have the watch time hours on this channel because again, that channel actually got monetized in 2 weeks, but then I completely neglected it for 2 or 3 years because we were focusing on other areas. And now it's kind of like a slow grind. I lack the time and I don't see the benefit in recording videos because again, the information outdates so fast, and the live streams obviously have like a handful of viewers, you being the only one that's usually active. And so it's still good because like this live stream is 40 minutes. So times whatever, 6 viewers says the dashboard. So it gets me a couple hours of watch time, but I need a total of 4,000 hours watch time within the last 12-month period to again qualify for the monetization. Yeah. And it's a slow thing, but I'll get there. Yeah. And I could speed it up. I could, I don't know, become active in some trading related communities and post there to basically get people to check out my profile, from there get to the channel and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, so YouTube in general, if you have something you're passionate about, that's not necessarily something that outdates very fast, like trading, start a YouTube channel, publish once per week, and in anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years, you will be monetized. And then it's just about keeping up the publishing, and you will make anywhere from a couple $100 per month to a couple thousand. On my main channel that now has 98,000 subscribers, which I also neglected in 2022 a lot when we were migrating to Germany forcefully. Yeah. There, the best month I had was February 2020, I think. So the shortest month of the year, with $8,600 in revenue just from that one channel. Plus on top affiliate revenue from things that got mentioned in the videos and so on. So yeah, YouTube definitely has potential. It's also for our software business. 30% of our user base come from our YouTube videos. So where our software YouTube channel is not monetized yet, but it's getting there. And where basically we make tutorials about what our software does. People watch that, then they sign up, and we have a paying user. And once that YouTube channel will be monetized, which again will happen eventually, then we'll also earn money from the YouTube videos themselves, which might not be a lot, but it will be extra revenue. Yeah, so YouTube definitely one of the things where you can work remotely from wherever you are. All you need is especially the newer MacBooks with the M chips. My wife has one, a 13-inch with an M1 chip, so not even one of the newer ones, and can edit on it in 4K. Yeah, not super fluent like on our editing computer, but fluent enough. Yeah. And so, yeah, all you need is a camera, MacBook, and some lavalier microphone so that you can attach that has like decent audio quality, and you can build your channel from wherever you are. And so while you are finding yourself and potentially living from your savings that seem to be big enough to do that, that would be something I would start a YouTube channel, publish once per week, switch topics in between if you feel like you don't enjoy making videos about the topic, because for the first couple of videos and months anyway, almost nobody's going to watch them because they will not rank well and it will take time. Yeah, other than that, outside of YouTube, affiliate marketing, great thing to do, but then you need a medium to actually generate the revenue and the viewers. But yeah, like so our software is basically an add-on for another software, and that other software is an affiliate program. So we're mentioning it everywhere in the content about our software. And over the years, we also, when we started out promoting that other software in the first year, we made, I think, 4,000 or so in affiliate commissions. That was in 2019. Since then, it's been 5 years, and we've made a total of like a little bit over $100,000. And every year that amount increased. So while in the first year it was 5,000 and so on, then I don't know what the exact numbers were the year after that and so on. But pretty much year over year, we increased the number or the amount of revenue that we get from that affiliate program, because we recommend that software, people sign up for it. Some of it obviously stop using it after a week, after a month, after half a year, but there's a certain number that sticks around while we still refer new users to the software and we get the commission. So yeah, but you need to have a way to then reach people to be able to promote it to them. So there again, for us, YouTube does a lot of the work. Anyway, now I'm starting to lose my voice and I still have a long to-do list for the rest of the day. So thank you very much. I hope we get to chat a little bit more about what you want to do and what you are trying out and what like how you're finding yourself. I'm always interested in those not stories, but those developments and people that are working towards reaching a higher level of independence. And as you see, I also don't mind sharing our experiences, what worked, what didn't work. Yeah, to be fair for us, so last thing for today, for us, what in quotes screwed us was Russia's invasion, because we suddenly were stuck in Germany and then had to spend a small 5-digit amount for a car, apartment, and we're driving a 20-year-old BMW, yeah, or actually 23-year-old BMW. It's almost as old as my wife. Yeah. What? Yeah, it's almost as old as you. Yeah. And so like spending a 5-digit amount on that, then having to suddenly for 2022, I had to pay, or still have to, I mean, which we filed the taxes, have to pay 25% tax on all the dividends I paid myself in 2022 from our Hong Kong entity, which was more because we needed more money, so also higher tax bill. And then on top of that, had to figure out how to set up the company structure to save money in the future. So set up a GmbH, which again also has its own cost, and so plus having to dedicate all that time to get settled here and deal with all that shit. So basically, the whole 2022 we couldn't focus on the business very much and neglected a lot of things, while at the same time having higher expenses, and that really is something that took some time to get sorted out. Luckily enough, revenue and everything is still we're still profitable and we have wiggle room, but we could be somewhere completely different already if it weren't for those things. Yeah, but on the other hand, compared to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of others of Ukrainians that were affected by the war, we still have it great. Yeah. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks, Olga, for the interaction. And if you remind me, we can talk a little bit more about taxes in Germany, since that's I'm currently dealing a lot with, like, since we have an entity in Hong Kong, one in the US, and the GmbH in Germany as a holding. So I might be able to share a few things that may or may not help you also set up a construct that may or may not save you taxes in the long run, or at least so legally without any illegal stuff, but really just by structuring things properly. So I can share with you the things that I figured out or paid people to tell me. Yeah. But for today, I wish you a pleasant rest of the day and the rest as well of the people that are lurking, and a great weekend. And we see each other then hopefully on Monday around 5 minutes before the market opens. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, enable notification. Olga, don't forget the thumbs up button. That's something that really would help since I don't get anything from the YouTube Premium. Yeah, don't feel forced, but do it. And then see you on Monday. Have a great day. Till then, bye-bye.